Oh boy. Oh boy. Man, if you ever experienced being fired in your life, you would know it's probably one of the most exhausting things you could do. It's one of those things that nobody likes to hear, but eventually everybody gets to that point. Everybody gets to a point where somebody doesn't like you. You might get fired because of jealousy. You might get fired because of incompetence. You might get hired because you lied on your resume. You might get fired because honestly, you just suck at your job. You should get fired. But me, I got fired because I was all the above. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna cap to you. I was all the above. My first job I ever had, I got fired from it. Okay? Picture this. Before I even tell you guys or even go even further into the story, I want you guys to understand my background, the backdrop. I want to set the scene real quick, okay? So, I used to go to a private Catholic high school that was called SJDCHS. For all the slow people in the back, that's San Juan Diego Catholic High School. And the cool thing about San Juan Diego Catholic High School is that they had a corporate work study program in which they employed you as long as you academically you were doing good. They would employ you. They would set you up with corporate work jobs. Hence the name corporate work party. Corporate work. Jesus Christ. Corporate work study program. And the whole thing about San Juan Diego is that if you got fired from 3 jobs, they kicked you out of the school because that was the whole point. You study and then you go to your corporate work study job. You quote unquote you intern from them. So my mom really loved the idea of sending me to a Catholic high school so I can learn, be closer to God. She had no idea about the corporate work study program. When I came home, my first orientation day, I told her, "Yeah, I'm gonna start to work at Dell." She was like, "Nah, no way." I was like, "Yeah, you didn't know about this?" She's like, "I had no clue. I had no idea they even had a program like that." And I said, "There's no way." She said, "No, my mom just wanted me to go to a Catholic high school. That's it. She didn't care about anything else. There could have been $1 million behind door one, but she chose door two because she just wanted her son to get a nice Catholic education. Yeah, she wanted me to stay away from drugs and violence, but it got me closer to drugs and violence. Ironically, anyways, I got chosen in my orientation. I got chosen to work for Dell. And it's funny because when they're choosing you when you're finding out which jobs you're gonna get for the rest of the year, it almost feels like an NFL draft. You're just hoping because the first people they announced Dell, all the cool jobs, they announced it first. Just to get it out the way. So you already know if you're gonna work in Dell or you're gonna work in a cool job, but the coolest job to have is to work at Dell, honestly. And so I was one of the first ones. Boom, they called my name, Isaac Castaneda, working in Dell. And I was excited. I was like, whoa, damn. Okay, I get to work in Dell. I wonder what it comes with it. So a whole lot of BS. That's what ended up happening with it. I get selected to go work at Dell. First round pick, you know, this is how I do. Uh, None of us know what's going on. So it's a group of 8 of us. And I don't even think the people that was a part of the program, I don't even think they knew what they were doing. Just based off of the fact that we were all put together, we were all dropped off in the same building. We were all placed in a round table, and the round table had dividers between all of our sections, all of our desks, but we were still connected. It was the same table. Guess what happened throughout the year? Do you think we got a lick of work done? No, sir. We did not work for the whole year because our supervisors didn't even know what to do with us, right? We were in a basement. If Have you guys ever watched that movie Elf? Remember when they were working in the mail they were dude, I can't even talk. This is my second time recording this video. Forgive me. Remember when they went down to the mail office and it was all those people, all those little people working in the mail office, if I remember correctly? And it was packed. It was jam-packed of people in there. That's how it felt to work in Dell first year, 14 years old in freshman year. That's how it felt. We didn't get a lick of work done. The only thing we would do is we would sit down, we would message each other in AOL chat, in iMessage, and then after that, we would just go to lunch, we would eat, and then we would come back, chill. That's it. No work done. And that's how it was for the rest of the year. Now, second year, I got to work there again. Same thing. First round draft pick. Boom. Got to work there again. This time, they learned. They learned from their mistakes. This time, we each got selected to work in a different building. And so I got building 1. My homeboy got building 2. My homegirl got building 6. My other homeboy got building 8. Turns out, later in the story, nobody wanted to be in building 1 for a reason. I'm about to tell y'all later on. So as I get into the building, I realized, I'm the only one getting off on this one. Okay, whatever. I get off, I clock in, I go to my designated place, and then they introduce me to everybody, whole team. There's like 8 people on my team. I'm gonna retract my supervisor's name because I just don't know if she's still working at Dell, and I just don't want anything to happen to her. So we're just gonna call her Maria. So I meet Maria. She introduces herself. She says, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you, Isaac. So look, this is a team. You're basically gonna be data entry intern, and you're gonna data entry invoices for us." So I was like, okay, cool. They showed me how to do it. Seemed pretty easy. I told the guy that was teaching me, so how much do you guys expect me to do per day? This motherfucker hits me with around 2,000. 2,000. Wow. I can barely do 600. Safe to say I never got close, even nowhere near close to the 2,000. What the fuck? Who's doing 2,000 a day? You really got to be desperate to work at Dell to do 2,000 a day. It wasn't necessarily a hard process. It's the fact that it was just annoying. It was tedious. Every single invoice you had to put it in the computer a certain way, and it was just tedious. I never really paid it no attention. So as time went on and time progressed, I got to know them a little better. Turns out Ron, the guy that was training me, mind you, none of these names are going to be their real names. I'm just going to make names up for these people so that way they don't come after me and I don't come after them and they don't feel embarrassed. It's just all going to be, they probably don't even know who I am. They'll never know this channel anyways. So Ron starts teaching me. I start noticing that Ron is an alcoholic. Every single time I go close to him, he smells like alcohol. I just never said anything. I was like, whatever, man. Maybe he's just he's going through something. But I knew he was going through something. Because he would tell me, "Oh, I'm getting a divorce. I'm divorcing my wife, and sometimes he would come in all sad and stuff like that. But I'm 15. I don't know anything about marriage. I haven't even had my first kiss yet. I don't even know nothing about sex. Like, what do you expect me to do? You a grown ass man talking to a child. And so oftentimes Maria, she would be out of the office, and she was the person that I was always supposed to check in with. And it seemed like nobody else had this problem except me, because everybody else's manager or supervisor or caretaker was always on site. Maria was never on site. Maria would always be on a project. She would always be on a side mission. She'd be on the other side of the world handling business for Dell like a secret agent. And so I would always be tasked with Ron. And one day Maria wasn't there. So I read a little note that she left on the side of the door. She said, "Hey, I'm out for the weekend. Check in with Ron." So I said, "Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and check in with Ron." Right? Checked in with Ron. Guess what happened? I checked in with Ron, and this dude told me, "Wait, what do you mean Maria didn't leave you anything to do?" No. I read the note. She said that you'll have something for me to do. He said, "No, I don't have anything." I said, "So what do I do?" He said, "Just chill for the rest of the day. You got a chill day today." I was like, "Okay, cool." Sat back down. Mind you, I forgot to tell you guys this. This is the most important part. This is a key detail to the story. When I first got there and got introduced to the team, they were all sitting on one side of the room, and they were all sitting in a row full of cubicles. I looked around and I said, "Where do I sit?" And they said, And it's like they never even thought of me. It's like I was an afterthought. They said, They moved me on the other side of the cubicles. Mind you, there's a hallway between their row of cubicles and my row of cubicles. They moved me to a section of cubicles that didn't have nobody in there. They moved me to the cubicles where nobody existed. Nobody was spawning in that row. I was the only player on that row. Lonely than a bitch. Had nobody to talk to but myself. And they would tell me, "Oh, well, we're going to periodically check on you just to see how you're doing. And, if you have any questions." They never checked up on me. That was a lie. That's when I knew this team was on some bullshit. Okay, Maria was always out of office. Ron was always an alcoholic. There was another lady there. She was nice, but she never knew what to tell me. She never took initiative to tell me anything. I guess she was an intern just like me, but she was for real an intern. And then there was an older lady that never really talked to me, and she never would give me the time of day either. It's like it was almost like I was annoying to her. And it's like, what can I do? And she would always just look at me with a mean ass face. Just like that one monster from Monsters Inc., the fat one. Yeah, just like her. She would always look at me with a mean ass face. And so I would just never talk to her. And as the days went by, I remember sitting in my cubicle, and I would always say to myself, at this point, I'm working diligently on doing data entry and doing invoices. I could have honestly just been doing bullshit because they just didn't have anything else for me. And I was still on the, okay, I'm gonna do a good job and stuff like that, right? One day it occurred to me, hey, I'm here by myself. This has been the fourth week that I've noticed nobody is coming up and checking up on me. Nobody. I went to Maria's office. Nobody was there. I went to Ron. Nobody was there. The other lady, she was on break. And then I went to the other mean lady, and she just basically told me to fuck off. So I did. And this is where I started to say, you know what? I'm gonna see how long it takes for them to check up on me. So I would have days where I would walk in, go to my cubicle, not check up with anybody, not do any work. I would just get on undergroundlabs.com and open up YouTube, throw on a podcast, and game all day. That would be my work day. That's what I would do at Dell all day. Nobody would check up on me. And I expected, okay, it'll take like 2-3 weeks for them to check up on me. Nothing. Okay. By the second month, I started to get bored. And I said, if nobody is checking up on me, I can just technically just walk around the whole day and nobody would say anything to me. So this is what I started doing. Just that. I started getting up every single day and just walking around the whole building. The building had 4 floors. I was on the first floor. I would walk around the whole day from floor 1 to floor 4 and just walk around the whole thing. I probably got in a good 15,000-20,000 steps a day. That's how much I was walking. That got me bored. I started to walk from building to building. I kid you not. I started to walk the whole complex. From building 1, I would walk to 8. From 8, I would walk to 4. From 4, I would walk to 2. 2, I would walk back to 1. I had nothing to do. And day by day, week by week, I started to get a little bit sad because I was like, damn, no one's checking up on me. No one's even trying to even make an effort to check up on me. And then one day I walked in, same as every other day, opened up YouTube, opened up Underground Labs. And then Maria pulled me into the office. This time I saw that Maria was in the office. And what was funny is the fact that I looked at Maria and I said, someone already made her pissed off. Someone's gonna get fired. That someone was me. She was preparing to fire me. I don't know if I pissed her off or I made her feel embarrassed or what happened. But it was the fact that I wasn't checking up with her and I wasn't doing any work. So she pulled me into her office. She said, Isaac, can I speak to you for a second? I was like, yeah, sure. She said, you might want to grab your things. I said, what for? She was like, just in case. Like, And she pulled me in. She said, Isaac, we're gonna have to talk. Like, what's happening? It's about your job. Like, okay. She said, Isaac, for the past 4 months, you haven't been checking in with none of us. You haven't been doing any work since September. It's January. Nothing. You haven't put in a single invoice in. Nothing. What? That's highly irresponsible of you. You can't be doing that. And that's highly dangerous because I'm your legal guardian because you are 15 years old. You're not even above the age of consent. And I said, first of all, I was confused because I said, what does this have to do with anything with my job? Like, I'm not doing anything bad. Like, yeah, I guess I'm not putting in any of the data entries, but in reality, no one's really checking up on me. So I told her that. I was like, well, you're always out of office. Ron's always out of office. The other lady doesn't talk to me and the other lady hates me. So I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And she said, well, that's very irresponsible of you. And you should have more responsibility in your life. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let you go. I sat there, and when I tell you my balls fell down to my feet in that instance, because I've never been fired from a job. I don't even know what a what being fired from a job is, really. And then I was like, I don't want to go home and explain this to my mom because I don't know what I just did, but I know it's not good. I know I didn't do a good thing right now. So I told her, so what's gonna happen? She was like, well, you're gonna be fired, you're gonna be let go from this job, and then you're never gonna come back here again. And I was like, well, why do I have my backpack? Is someone gonna come and pick me up? And she was like, no, you're just gonna stay here for the rest of the day, just hang out, and go ahead and talk to Mr. Bonilla. You know what I thought in that instance? I was so mad for the rest of the day. You want to know why I was mad for the rest of the day? I should have been sad that I lost a good opportunity to work at Dell. But I was mad because I started thinking about all the shit that my friends were doing that I wasn't doing. I started thinking about all the times that my homeboy Bernardo would tell me, dude, guess what? We just went to Papados in my manager's Mustang Cobra, and we were there for like 4 hours. He bought out the whole bar. He got drunk, and then we raced on the high. He's like, get this, we raced on the highway with his buddy's G35, and he was in a Mustang Cobra, and we raced like at 90 miles per hour on 35. What the fuck? The amount of rage that was coming to my body was unfathomable. What do you mean you're going to Papados and I'm over here eating Fig Newtons, oodles and noodles, and fucking Rice Krispie treats from the vending machines and no one's fucking talking to me? He's like, yeah, man. And then we got Deborah from the other HR department. Man, she's so hot, man. She came over here too. What the fuck, man? My fucking whole team hates me. I got an old lady that would like to see me never walk in here again. I got Ron is a fucking alcoholic that's going through a fucking divorce. Maria never checks up on me and blames everything on me. And the other chick doesn't take any incentive to give me anything. And I'm by myself 24/7. I'm by myself in a cubicle, in a row of cubicles by myself. I have no friends. I have nobody to talk to whatsoever. And when I got to the bus, everybody was so jolly. Oh man. This is what set me over the fucking edge. I got to the bus. All I wanted to do was just to shut the fuck up and put my headphones in. No, when it fucking rains, it pours. My homeboy looked up at me and he was like, dude, guess what? Like, what, man? They gave me a fucking Alienware laptop. I was like, what? Why? He's like, what do you mean, why? Because my managers fuck with me, that's why. I was like, how did you get one? That's like exclusive. Mind you, this is 2010. Alienware didn't come out until like 2011, 2012. So why they gave him an Alienware laptop is beyond me. And he was like, dude, they fuck with me, that's why. Dude, I was so fucking pissed. At that point, I realized this is why kids shoot up schools, man, because holy shit, man. Oh, man, my whole fucking life at that point was just fucking L after L after L after L after L. Like, what the fuck was that, man? You went to Papados, you raced in the fucking race car, you got a free Alienware laptop, you got a laptop that isn't supposed to come out for another 2 years. What the fuck? What a breed. I didn't get shit from Dell. Nothing. with a whole lot of regret. And then at a certain point, he calmed down from telling me all this, and then he realized, oh, there's something wrong with you. So he told me, hey man, so what's wrong? And I was like, man, I got fired. What do you mean you got fired? I just said that I got fired. How? This is the easiest job in the world. Yeah, for you, Mr. Alienware. I'm in the finance department. Those fuckers are miserable. What the fuck, dude? You're in the fucking cool department. I'm in a department everybody wishes they never went to. I hated that department. I was always alone. Nobody ever took the time to talk to me. I looked weird because I never had a place to go. I was just walking around all the time. Fuck, dude. But you know what? Looking back at it, I kind of enjoy it now. Because it made me realize once I got off the bus and I went home, I got off the bus to go home, to go on the metro in another bus to go home. So I had a lot of time to think. And it's funny because the school bus dropped us off at the school. I didn't even say bye to nobody. I just went straight to the bus stop. I had a lot of time to think. And in that time, I told myself, I am never, for as long as I live, I will never work another 9-to-5 job again. I will never work another office job again in my life. Because to some of y'all, working an office job seemed like paradise. You guys went through paradise. It's up until now that you guys are figuring out that working an office job is fucking hell. I got introduced to hell from day one. I got introduced to the worst of the worst from day one. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't have to go through fucking college. That's honestly the catalyst to why I never went to college. Because I told myself, I'm gonna go to college just to get a job like this at the end of the day. Fuck that. Why? Man, fuck these people. No, but I was really going through some crazy depression when I was 15. And then it didn't help that I couldn't talk to somebody even if I tried. Because there was nobody to talk to. I had nobody to talk to. So, when I got fired, I realized something. Nobody likes to look like they don't know how to do their job. And that's what happened. I made my manager look like she didn't know how to do her job. And that embarrassed her, and in turn, she took immediate action and fired me. So I said, you know what? I'm cool off that. I don't need Dell. Because Dell for me was fucking hell. Fuck that job. Then I went to Texas PTA. Then I went to St. Edwards. Then I went to Vincent and Elkins. Hey man, shout out to Chelsea, man. Shout out to Chelsea and Vincent and Elkins. You really helped me figure out my life. But yeah, man. That's the story on how I got fired from my first job. Never forget it. It'll always stay with me in my heart. But honestly, fuck that place. I never want to work another place like that. Have you? Oh man, fuck that, man. God damn it, man. Fake ass people with some fake ass shit. But yeah, man, if you enjoyed it, man, leave me a like. Peace.